Hi, welcome to yet another show of Eureka Moments by eCircle. I'm Ram here, one of the hosts of Eureka Moments. I'm supremely excited today to have amongst us here two budding celebrities, I can call them, of Mysuru. Young, energetic, and filled with so many new ideas. And I thought it's important for me to have them on the show before they become too popular. So taking this opportunity to introduce to all of you Adarsh and Shrinkhala.
Hi.
Welcome to the show, Adarsh and Shrinkhala. And it's been such a pleasure knowing both of you over the last year, 2 years. And the reason I wanted you on the show is because eCircle is all about trying to bring people onto this show and tell people there are many who are actually working in the background silently and making a change. When it comes to the cultural heritage and related aspects of Mysuru, I think a name that easily is identifiable with many is Desiadda and everything you do around it. So in that context, I want to welcome you to the show, and I hope today's conversation is a relaxed one on the journey that both of you have undertaken and what it has taken for you to be here and what is your vision over the next decade or so. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us on the show, and we're excited to have an opportunity to talk to you. We've talked to you a lot informally, but it's good to have a detailed, focused, phone-aside conversation with you.
Sure.
Thank you. Glad to be here, and I'm also looking forward to an interesting conversation.
Thank you, Shrinkhala. Thank you. So I don't know where to start, but I'll probably start knowing that you're unique. You're a couple both at work and at home, right? Not a combination that happens often, and not a combination that many of them like. Because many of them like to compartmentalize the two, and I know of many couples who have similar thoughts and ideas, but they try and make sure they're not in the same working space, because sometimes too much of time can also be counterproductive. Before we get into some of those things, right? Adarsh, I'm assuming, are you like classmates, or are you you're senior to her? How did that work?
We are classmates.
You're classmates. So you actually got together in MBA school together.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, did Desiadda happen first, and then you got together, or was there some other sequence? Just enlighten me on that, please.
First was, yes, Desiadda.
Yep.
As you mentioned, it was 2015.
Okay.
Once I finished my engineering at JCA, I had an idea of wanting to start something. The idea essentially was that I become an entrepreneur so that I could stay back in Mysuru and build something out of Mysuru.
Okay.
The attachment to the city is because, one, of course, emotional reasons that I've been here all my life and I love the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought if there is a way to make some business happen here, and for me to also be able to sustain, it's best. And that's why I decided to start some business, and Desiadda was a natural choice for me because I've always been inclined to art.
And this is just after your undergrad.
Yeah, this was in 2015, immediately after my engineering.
So why did you not bite the bullet of going to a Bangalore or a Hyderabad, which is what most youth in Mysuru did at that point in time, right? So what made you think you should be in Mysuru?
For me, I've found academics and everything to be very easy. Thanks to good genes probably that I got, and the sense of discipline I got from my dad, who was in education all his life as a teacher.
Okay.
That I found education very simple. Like in my 10th standard or 12th and all that, I've always fared well in exams. And I felt that there was not much of challenge. Even in engineering also, everything just went smooth. And
You oversimplify education too much, Adarsh. Not everybody's like you. They have some tough times too. But anyway, that's your blessed gene.
that is right, yeah. So then I started a non-profit called Project Reach Out.
Okay.
And that was in 2013 when I was in my second year of college.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the whole process, the uncertainty of it. Sometimes there is risk associated. Say, for example, rented out the whole TRC cinemas theater, lobbed the 200 seats, and then decided to sell those tickets, raise money, donate it to a non-profit. So there was a lot of uncertainty, and I liked the challenge and the thrill that it presented. And hence I thought corporate is something that I can anytime go back in life in case something I do fails, as opposed to the belief that you do work for some years and then come back to entrepreneurship. I thought that would increase my expectations out of life and set a new standard of living. But if I started frugally, I would get used to frugal living and failure, and later whatever I get would be a plus. So that's the reason why I didn't.
And why did you choose something like Desiadda, which was so far removed from your engineering degree?
That's right. I had a book of ideas,
Okay.
and every other day in class, in most classes in final year of engineering, you don't have much to do. It's only projects.
Especially you got your placements and stuff.
That's right.
Right.
And only projects are there. The last whole year you focus on projects.
Correct.
So mainly I had this idea book. I kept writing a lot of ideas.
Okay.
And then I had a couple of my classmates and I said, rate these ideas based on how interesting it is, how easy it is to do, and what is risk-free. Like in Desiadda, I didn't have any investment. I had to make, people made products. I just built a website. I knew how.
So you wanted to be a marketplace for some good products available.
And I thought on the non-emotional side of things, it's not often that you might expect an artisan to open up an e-commerce website or become a competitor for you in the online space.
Right.
So I thought that gave me enough time to experiment and figure out how to take that business forward.
And was it a classic, non-validated imagination that it will work well, and hence you plunged into it? Was there any validation you had?
There was no validation. That's it.
Okay.
Just the drivers.
So you just thought, hey, they're great products. Let me open a marketplace.
That's right.
Things will sell like hotcake.
Yeah.
That was the trust with which you jumped in.
Yeah, that was the imagination with which I started.
Okay. And this was how many years it took for you to realize that you may have to rethink what you're doing?
Well, it took me 3 years because whatever I've done in my life, it's all in intervals of 3 years.
Okay.
And that was the deal that I had with my father. 5 seemed too much.
Okay.
1 or 2 seemed too less, so we settled on 3.
Nice.
And I also read this Malcolm Gladwell's theory of 10,000 hours.
Right.
At the rate of 10 hours per day, it roughly translates to 3 years. I put in that hour of 3 years was the expectation.
Okay.
So in that, I had a lot of stressful experiences, a lot of challenges. And then I approached Dad. He said, you do an MBA because I still have a few years left as a working professional.
I can still earn your bread.
Yeah, that's right. So you do your MBA because certainly no one would employ you for an engineer job because you've forgotten everything that you studied.
Correct.
So then I said, okay, let me do an MBA.
And this is all pre-COVID only.
This was 2-3 years. That is 2018.
2018.
Nice. And Shrinkhala, that's when you met Adarsh.
Yes.
Okay, super. So what did you see in Adarsh that was different from the others, Shrinkhala?
In the sea of engineers, I felt like I knew a little too much about business.
Right.
So there was always an implicit competition.
Okay.
Anytime I would raise my hand in the class and answer to some question that would make Adarsh a little jealous, and he'd be like, next day that would be me. I'm going to answer before you do.
Because I did not have any knowledge about it and I would answer out of some...
Correct. So a combination of gut and...
Yeah, so what she knew by definition, the exact definition in the textbook.
Correct. Okay, so like many relationships that blossom into love at a later point, it starts with some of the feeling. It could be hatred, jealousy, blah, blah, blah.
There was no such thing in the college.
Okay. So you were just good co-students.
The only interesting thing that I felt was that book of ideas that he mentioned, he carried around with him even in college.
Oh, nice.
And I think every day he would come, this is after the internship and the student exchange when all of that ended. He would come every day and we would discuss one of the ideas on what is it that we can pursue while we are still doing this MBA thing.
Okay.
So every day we would sit, discuss on some ideas, and the thing about me is I'm a very good critique or a naysayer, so to say. Yeah. So every new idea he would bring, I would shoot it down saying, well, there's this flaw and
You're
maybe
the
it's
manager
not,
for the business.
maybe it's not financially viable.
Right.
Maybe we can't have an MVP for this. And then gradually through the course of the courses that we were taking in MBA, we somehow settled on Inside Out. I think
and both of you met in Myra, right?
Yes.
Of course, run by Ambarish, as we all know, great guy. So, but are you also entrepreneurially oriented always?
Not always, I wouldn't say. That's because of the way I was brought up. I come from Kanpur, which is academically driven. So it's always a doctor, engineer, or a lawyer. And if you're a commerce graduate, the natural course of action for you is to become a chartered accountant. That's the path that I was also on.
Okay.
And then somewhere down the line, I realized that that's something that I wouldn't probably want to do all my life. And that's when I wanted to switch careers from chartered accountancy to MBA, which is also academically very challenging.
Oh, right.
So my parents agreed for me to do that. The only condition being I wanted to be as far away from my home as possible.
Is that the opposite of that? Is I wanted to be as close as possible to home as.
So I was going to ask you, was it serendipitous that you chose Mysore, or was it because of some good things you heard about Myra and the management?
Yeah, good things that I heard about Mysore, and also I wanted to do a student exchange program.
Oh, nice.
I did have scholarship from many places, but they didn't really offer student exchange semesters.
Okay, which you got in Myra.
Yes, which was a good thing
And
about
where did you
Myra.
do that?
I did that in Portugal at
nice.
Católica Lisbon School of Economics and Business.
Oh, super. Did you also do one?
Yeah.
For exchange, you were willing to leave Mysore.
Yeah. She went and came back during that summer or something.
Spring semester, and I only had good things to say about it.
Oh, super.
And I did not have to do much work on that. Wherever she stayed, I stayed at the same place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whatever route she took on the metro, I did the same thing. So I pretty much followed.
I'm not very sure you were just friends then. You know, you think so? We'll stick to that narrative.
We are convinced that we were.
We were,
Okay, good point. Okay, so all of these things happened, and then did you kind of decide that you will get into entrepreneurship together? Because I met my wife at work at some point, but I have many friends who met their spouses in MBA, grad school, or computer science schools and all that. And very often they did a hedging strategy where say one of them said, I'll get into entrepreneurship, and the other person actually ended up picking up a more safe job. So they want a safety net and all that. How did that transpire for you?
we did not think it would have been a good idea.
I think so. That would have financially secured us for the long run.
But you, as you left college, did you decide, even as friends, that you will actually do something together?
This was in the second year of college itself. Okay. So I'm like very restless.
Okay. So you formed your next company as you were doing your second year?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Which is Inside Out.
Correct.
Okay.
So, like she said, that idea thing never stops. Even now, I keep always having something new to try.
Okay.
And if not for her restraint and her logical arguments on shooting down certain ideas and telling no, this
You would have had 10 companies. Right?
yeah, simply like no, I don't think 8 of them would have worked. I'm convinced that I can do something good.
Okay.
But because of her, if I do 3, all 3 might be good.
Correct.
So that's the thing. So we started in the second year itself.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And interestingly, if you juxtapose the two, see, Desiadda is all about bringing heritage and culture-related products out there. Did you see the need for something like an Inside Out to actually give it the publicity, and is that the reason you actually brought it out, or was it focused on purely external customers?
Shrinkhala can answer the technical parts of it, but
Yeah.
I guess looking back, we can connect the dots now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then it was not really about.
It seemed disparate.
Yes.
But you can tell about how it started.
Yeah. So there was a college project, I think, which was on integrated marketing communications.
Okay.
Something to do with offline marketing as well as online marketing.
Okay.
So what we thought was offline marketing aspect of it was already sorted with Desiadda.
Right.
Branding, merchandising, the printing of it. On the online side, we both took a course in digital marketing when we were at our student exchange semester.
Okay.
Then we thought that maybe we can come up with a company which caters to the digital marketing needs of individuals.
Okay.
And that way we could create maybe a pipeline or a cross-selling from Inside Out to Desiadda and Desiadda to Inside Out.
Luckily, at that time in second year, there was a course called Entrepreneurship at Myra.
Okay.
And there was a faculty called Dr. Govind Nair, who was here from the US.
Okay.
So in his course, we were asked to do a project for submission of the entrepreneurial idea.
Okay.
And we ended up in the same group in that project.
2 moments of coincidence.
No, sometimes it was coincidence. Sometimes we deliberately wanted to be in the same group because the fact that there was so much competition brought out the best in a lot of projects.
Nice.
So we saw that trend from year one itself,
Yeah.
where if we worked on a certain project together, just that element of you're not right, I'm right, ensured that we landed upon the best solution.
Nice.
Yeah. So in that sense, that group project really helped us.
Okay.
Where all this discussion happened because there were many ideas that we could have presented. But in that critique discussion itself, I said, let's do this story.
Okay.
And then we had a different name.
Yeah.
The name was Hypotenuse or
Hypotenuse.
something.
Oh, is it?
We called it the right angle of business.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That name was
Sounds
taken.
very creative. Oh, okay. Was it taken?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
And then it became Inside Out.
Yeah.
What was the genesis of Inside Out?
Thought of Desiadda was originally.
Oh, yeah,
thought of
India
as,
Inside Out.
India Inside Out was the name that.
Oh, acha. Okay.
Keep because the culture and traditional aspects of products, moment and all that trophies and everything,
Right.
handicraft and all, I wanted to sell it outside of India.
Okay.
So I wanted to call it India Inside Out. Then somebody told me at that time that you can't name India and stuff like that in your company. I don't know. I didn't even research.
Right.
And then the team was there, my friends and all that. They voted for Desiadda as the name.
Okay.
But I always kind of liked this India Inside Out because I thought it comes as IIO.
Okay.
You think about it.
Yeah. Correct.
So I wanted that.
Nice. Yeah, in fact, Desiadda, before I knew you, somebody told me Desiadda, and I used to think it was like sorry to say this, like, I thought it was like a hangout spot, chai spot.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yes.
imagined it.
Not a bad idea to do.
Yeah. Next business venture.
Yeah. Super. So, the metamorphosis after that, right? I want to ask you one thing, Adarsh. Has Desiadda lived up to your expectations? Given Mysuru is such a culturally grounded city and district and all that, have you been able to do enough justice to the vision you had?
Right.
With it, number one. Is the ecosystem as supportive and as fertile as it needs to be to actually take the best out of Mysore and show it to the world?
Right. That's thanks for that question
Yeah.
because I really was expecting some questions on Desiadda which would make me think and this is something that I've thought of a long time. So it might be a little boring,
But it's okay, yeah. But this is a serious conversation because I'm also very personally committed to a lot of things, heritage and culture, etc. And I also believe that a lot of heritage and culture should evolve also.
Yeah.
Right? I don't really believe so much in preservation 100%.
Right.
Because nothing in life remains static is my belief,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm asking you this loaded question, right?
Yeah. So here's the thought process of how it has evolved over the years. The idea of Desiadda, as I mentioned, was, like you said, artists are there. There are many people. We have to take their products and showcase it to the world, and people are going to get interested in them, buy them, and use it for various purposes,
Right.
like home decor or gifting and stuff like that.
So, and these are multiple categories, right?
Yeah.
There's art, there's craft,
That's right.
and of late you're also getting into performing arts and
That's
stuff
right.
like that. Okay, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the thread though. Being creative is the thread that I have now because Inside Out, also if I say it's into creative marketing,
Correct.
design. So I'm convinced now the thread is being creative. However, the journey of that thought process on Desiadda is once that happened and the e-commerce happened, I realized that there is more factors than just showing the products because it was like saying, well, look, that mountain has gold if you dig. That would attract everybody to run towards it.
Correct.
I thought this was something like that. You showcase really cool products and people would buy those products. But that was not the case initially because after I did e-commerce and everything, I realized, and there was many other companies in the market. Craftzilla was another brand that we would benchmark
Against.
they got heavily funded and all that. But as we looked at the journey, they also moved from handcrafted products to apparels,
Okay.
which might be your, the khadi,
Fabulous kind of
yeah,
stuff.
everything,
Right,
t-shirts, kurtas, and all that.
Right.
So then, why does that happen? If I realized, thought about it, I felt that it was mainly because of the touch and feel aspect. People cannot gauge the size of a product, the aspect of how the weight is, or how good the carving is, and what is the detail.
Correct.
And then that meant that I had to do very cool product photo shoots and other stuff, which was again extremely expensive to get the shoots of so many
Economics won't
products.
work for you then.
Right, and we did do certain product photo shoots, right? But there's no way to track that properly with artisans because nobody can do two identical pieces in a handmade. So say there is a product that we would sell, the banana fiber box it was called. If one had a bluish kind of a gradient, then they would order. Then when I go and check at the store, the product is not there.
Correct.
So then I send a reddish product and then I get a bad review.
Correct.
Initially, we didn't have a return policy because I said this can't be returned.
Correct.
Then we realized heavy marketing spend is needed to build traffic to your website. So I said, like my people around advised to do Amazon. Put it on Amazon, they mandate the return policy. And so we say yes to the return policy, and then people say they have a showcase at home to be
doesn't
this
fit
palace. Yeah, there is they don't know whether 10 or 18 inches. Both let me get both. Whichever fits, it fits. I'll send the other one back. And so two products go out here, and then one product comes back. It's all delicate. It breaks. And Amazon and all doesn't guarantee a return with
the quality of the
quality. That's why Amazon started with books mainly, which was
Interesting.
terrible, non-breakable stuff. And then they moved to apparels, and majority of it is non-breakable stuff. So then I thought that's totally a waste because every month it was negative that kept happening. And so that also we stopped. And then I said, retailing is something we are going to try because we need more people to come, touch and feel. That was the learning from online. And then no return or exchange. They come, they touch, feel, they see the size, they compare, and then they buy whatever they want.
Right.
So that was the idea of the retail store. But then I realized too much of
Inventory, yeah.
Inventory one, but hindrance from people who bring them to the store. It might be travels or guides or
some types or what else somebody
commission agents. So if I have to
put them in a order bucket.
yeah. And that was heavy because my promise to artisans was I won't hike up the price too much. I'll be fair.
Okay.
So if I have to give a 30% or 40% commission to someone, I have to increase it by 3 times at least, or else I won't have margins.
Right.
And so I started having problems with the artisans because they said, heavy markup, like you're saying, you're negotiating with me for pricing and you're marketing.
What are you selling at and what are you giving?
Yeah, how different are you from any other big brand store that are doing?
Correct.
They'd rather go to the big brand store than sell
Come
it
to
to
you.
me.
Right.
So then that also was a difficult challenge. And then we entered into corporate. So I thought, well, they will give the order in advance.
Okay.
We can do multiple.
This is corporate gifting and all that.
That's right.
Okay.
But there too, we realized that certain challenges on certain of the artisan side where they're very comfortable. There is a certain working hours and you can't like push them to do overnight.
I mean, you work with corporates, all of that goes for a win.
Yeah,
right.
And you need to deliver in this time. It has to be delivered.
Correct.
Given time.
And large quantities.
Yeah, large quantities.
Yeah.
And everything has to be similar again,
Yeah.
which is the problem. Consistency is what is required in corporate gifting unless they buy single products and so on.
Correct.
So these challenges led me to realize that not all artisans want to work heavily hard. They are not extremely motivated to be extremely prosperous in the wealth sense of terms.
Okay.
They have a very cool balanced lifestyle. They have enough time for their personal recreation, their family, their friends, the community in which they live in, and all of the other factors.
Makes sense.
So there's only a handful of them who are willing to do this, and with that I can serve only a handful of customers. Then the challenge of not able to handle credit period comes in, right? Because they need payments because their laborers are paid every day. And corporates somehow believe not in giving payments for at least 30 to 45 days credit periods and with a little advance, but I need to pay them heavily. So it's also a little bit of a challenge in maintaining cash flows. So if an order takes me 5 lakhs and I can spare only 10 or 15 lakhs, I can do only 3 customers. Even though I have order from 20 customers.
Correct.
So these were the financial side of challenges.
Correct.
And last point is that there are certain connoisseurs who want to have extremely good, unique pieces of art.
Very true.
And there are master craftsmen who are already there. And there is the supply-demand problem. Is the equation is different in that, where there are a few numbers of
customers. Yeah.
There are even fewer number of master craftsmen. So the demand is always higher than supply. So I don't have an opportunity there. These guys already supply to that. The majority of the market is the artisans who are not masters.
The miniature products.
Yeah, they've learned over generations.
Right.
They've been acquiring that skills from their parents or grandparents.
Okay.
And that group there are more number of people than customers.
Interesting.
So the demand is lesser than the supply.
Okay.
And the quality is not a connoisseur material, and the cash flows needed are heavy, and they don't want to work extremely hard because they know that they are not masters and that they want to live their life peacefully.
Interesting. So did you actually pivot from being a product focused company to something else hence from a Desiadda perspective, or you still continue to do artisanal products and stuff like that?
We still continue to do artisan products. If I expect artisans to only work like how they have always worked with a hand chisel and with limited technology interaction, they can only do a finite number of products in a given day.
Correct.
And 100% nobody would pass it on to their next generation. They do not. Most of the artisans do not want their children or other relatives.
So this is not really value for the effort they put in on it, correct?
So they all go to formal schooling. They will all become tech or medical related professionals, like mainstream, whatever the three like she mentioned earlier. My conviction was that we need to bring in technology somehow.
Super.
And that's how we got the engraving machines, laser machines, and various other equipments to help the job
A karigar to actually do this.
And they add the finer element of making it masterful or colorful, or adding that touch to make it beautiful.
Okay.
Other than that, most of it can be machine made, was my thought.
Okay.
And that is one.
And you embarked on that journey?
Yes.
And it required capital investments and all that for the machines.
We partnered with them to ensure that both of us have
to co-procure it and stuff. Okay. And you chose a bunch of artists and decided to work with
That's right. Who were with us for a long time, who knew how we work and why are we doing things.
Okay.
So with that, that is the current state. So if you ask me what my original thought was to where I am, it's gone through MBA in real life business to understand how it can go from an imagination of e-commerce to we adding a technology intervention, choosing corporate business as a safe haven, and ensuring that you don't focus on rapid scaling up, but in ensuring that everybody is profitable in this venture.
Super.
So it's a profit focused and a scale focused at the moment.
Okay. Now, and what would your suggestion be to Mysuru as an ecosystem to actually make it mainstream?
Yeah.
And the hope is that it's not just Desiadda, but the larger ecosystem is working towards taking the best of the products that Mysuru can offer to the world. What are your thoughts around this?
Right. So, what I feel is the city as a whole has to be built as a brand for people to value and take things from here and go.
Okay.
The city as a whole is not as much into souvenirs, is not as much into people picking up elements of a city for keepsake, as I have seen happen in other countries.
Okay.
Whenever we travel anywhere, we pick up
especially Europe.
Especially Europe.
Yeah, it's a poster child for this.
T-shirts, caps, all of that.
Right.
But here it's not there even today.
Yeah.
And the reason why we believe that it's not there, even we tried a lot to do with souvenirs. There's been multiple companies whose start and end I've seen in this process of nearly 10 years of working on Desiadda, of high hopes that this is a great tourism destination. There's like lakhs and crores of people visiting. Second most visited after Taj Mahal.
As a monument.
But even then, people don't pick up stuff from here because of several factors. One is there is always a market which is willing to offer a cheaper product, which is not essentially made in Mysore, or rather in India also for that matter. Right. Comes from our nearest neighbor. Correct. And I have seen this.
So you're talking about curios which are available on the street side.
That's right.
Which will show a Mysore palace. It'll actually look like 20% of what the palace is.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's not Mysore made at all. So as a rule, there's no enforcement, right? Anybody can sell anything in the city. Nobody is focused.
We went to this largest Buddhist temple in Asia, that's in Java. And there, when you enter the temple premises, you mandatorily have to take off your shoes and wear the bamboo made slippers that they provide.
Right.
And the price of that bamboo made slippers is included in the entrance ticket.
Interesting.
And at the end
So
of
it's a keepsake for you.
Yes, at the end of your trip, you get to take those slippers, and also the manufacturing, the production of all of it happens in the nearby villages.
Beautiful.
So they are providing a livelihood, and the money of that is coming from the tourists, not from the citizens of that
Exactly,
place.
right?
Exactly.
So here there is no policy.
Right.
The policy is anybody can sell. See, I was surprised, and I'm sure the various other people in Mysore who have tried this, or people from my outside who have tried this concept, I have also been thoroughly surprised that most of the products you see in Channapatna are not Channapatna.
In fact, we could adopt a very similar thing for Mysuru Palace.
We could.
Right? So anybody who comes into the palace, we should enforce they should wear a footwear that they provide.
Exactly. They
is probably
anyway
made
have
here.
to take it off.
for
That
cleanliness
taking
purpose
off policy is there,
Correct.
but we're not giving anything in exchange.
And for example, we have this product where you take barks from multiple trees and the inlay work.
Yeah.
It would be lovely to have chappals made out of inlay, maybe. People walk using that and then you take it back home.
Correct. Any keepsake here, artisans are encouraged to do. Now, the problem is while there are various artisans, like you said, there's no large-scale effort to integrate them and.
So, is there any organization today that actually works towards the welfare of these artisans? As you rightly said, most fathers and mothers who are currently involved in this business don't necessarily want their children to continue with this, right? And I've spoken to a few, including Sri Arun Yogiraj, who acquired national fame because of all the good work he's done. He once told me that he has so much of orders, he just has no means to actually execute on them. Because the amount of
master craftsman.
He's a master craftsman, right? Because he's become so popular, everybody wants his products.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the need for technology and innovation to come in.
Right.
Because even the designs that you can create are limited by either certain things that are passed on to you, or maybe some creativity you can bring as an artist. And many of these artists, in his own opinion, are not the most creative people, but they have very deft hands. So he was talking about how technology can bring a lot of creativity to this process, right? So I think there's a lot to be done in this space, Adarsh and Shrinkhala, right? What would you think, Shrinkhala? Because I've spoken to you in other forums and you also have very clear thoughts around action plans, right? As a city, what do you think we should do to bring heritage entrepreneurship mainstream?
Just like we are discussing, right, there should be mandatory things that are enforced by the authorities, by the government. A very good example of that would be the Mysuru Palace thing that we just spoke of. So ensuring that people are given the right platform, and there have to be bodies which come into play, and they are there to support artisans, ensure that they're receiving a fair price, and ensure that their product is brought onto a platform which is getting them more eyeballs. Because right now, as Adarsh also mentioned, the places that they work in, they are not in the tourist centers of the city, right? So maybe organizing tours to go into these places and see how the manufacturing happens. And when they see the amount of work that has gone into it, maybe they will consider the pricing to be fair, and they won't think that people are just simply overcharging.
Correct. Okay. Very interesting. I think the opportunities are so much, but I do feel bad at times when I speak to some of the artists, because most of them are worried about this not sustaining more than a couple of more decades. Because most of them are in the 50s. And none of them want their children to be part of it.
Right.
But I think collectively we have a huge responsibility of ensuring that we don't lose the best of what our heritage and culture and our practices offer just because it's not commercially viable, right? No, I think bringing innovation, bringing technology, bringing some MBA business sense can all make it very commercially viable.
Right.
And hopefully, people who are listening to you will also at the right point invoke some of us to see how this can be taken forward. I see some great steps happening in the performing arts side. For example, JCAC has come. And I've seen you as a company also using that venue to promote some performing arts, right? So with all the good work which is happening on that side, I see that there's a great momentum which is being built to make Mysuru again the cultural capital for performing arts.
Right.
But these are the non-performing side.
That's right.
And then maybe we have to start thinking,
See, the one thing I'd like to add is there are few new companies in Mysore which have come up where the person who runs it is a very good designer.
Okay.
Right. In our case, I'm not a good designer. I'm not an artist,
Okay.
of course. I can sell things.
Right.
I can organize certain things.
Okay.
But that said, there are a few good companies in Mysore where they are producing these master pieces.
Okay.
Really good ones. They are working with a lot of good artists to make products which have an international demand. I see modern, contemporary furnitures, products, and everything coming, and it's possible.
Yeah.
I feel with companies like that to create something exciting.
Right.
But the thing still remains that only those artisans who are agile or new age can integrate with that system.
Correct.
And build.
Yeah.
But majority, I'm told, like at least there are 200, 300 households who are artisans. And what is going to happen for the next 30 years of their lifetime is
right.
something a little difficult to
Big question mark.
understand.
Correct. No, I think this is a conversation well worth taking to people with money, people with power, people with administrative responsibilities. Because I think it's not right to say it's diamond in the rough. It's been there for so long. But I think it has all the potential to, because I think Mysuru is globally known, as we all know, for what it brings to the table.
Right.
I have so many friends who live in the US who want some great products from Mysuru, who keep coming to me regularly and asking, Ram, where can I buy this from? In fact, last week, a cousin of mine was passing through Mysuru to Coorg, and she wanted to stop and say, I want to buy some good furniture. And can you take me to some places? I said, I actually don't know where to take you. Because she said, the only thing I want is authentic rosewood or some combination inlay work and all that. Right? I, of course, spoke to a few people, but everybody said, we cannot guarantee you any authenticity.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to take that risk. So, hopefully this is something you also start thinking about. Not that you've not been. Maybe there's an opportunity to make a very impactful change
I
for the
think
future.
just drawing from the travel experiences also, there's been a lot of surge in these activity-based tourism where people would like to go attend workshop. Especially in Italy, there's a pizza making workshop,
Correct.
which people rave about.
Somewhere we had that bracelet.
Yeah, jewelry making
Correct.
workshops,
Correct.
right? So if there's something which people have put their own effort into, the DIY culture, they
Right.
feel more belongingness towards it.
Correct.
So that's also something that we could bring in terms of what's stopping us from doing an inlay workshop.
Correct, inlay workshop. And the youth of India have started traveling a lot,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people are traveling now are between 20 and 35. And they are the ones who would like such experiences.
Exactly.
Okay, so getting into a little conversation, because a little bit of heavy stuff, right?
Boring stuff. I told you before.
No, it's okay, but it's important. Adarsh and Shrinkhala, right? Because the reason why we are talking about these things also for the larger set of people who are consuming this podcast to also probably have some great ideas, and everything needs some trigger. So hopefully this will trigger some action is what I'm thinking. Between the two, between Desiadda and Insideout, are both of them as important as the two eyes for you, or is one more for the social cause and one catering to your commercial needs? How is that working?
Well, both of them are important.
Okay.
In fact, more than both of them, because we have other interests also now, experience and in events and so on.
Right.
But
all of that also is under Desiadda.
that's right.
Right.
So how we are operating this is, Ram, there is a lot of synergy that we are building between businesses. We want to be a one-point destination for our customers mainly to get various of their requirements met. And that we're doing with a professional group of people where everybody takes ownership. It is not stretched thin. Desiadda has a dedicated group of people. Insideout has a different dedicated group of people. Experience Mysore events. All of our teams are different. However, we are there as common threads across these things, trying to integrate different brands. So, for example, every of Insideout's customers gifting requirements or their T-shirts for their employees or the awards that they give for their employees, all of that comes from Desiadda, right? So here, since our proximity there with customers on a daily basis from Insideout, we have a good relationship with them. We are assured of the payment. And Desiadda can make good amount of products. It can create good amount of margins.
Totally.
So that's the balance that we find.
Okay.
And Insideout is a once a month you get paid because it's a retainership model.
Right.
Desiadda, you get to have cash flow for your day-to-day requirements.
Makes sense. Totally.
So both of that is important for us.
Super. So how would you advise, for lack of a better word, see, not just because of this interview, even prior, I'm sure a lot of them know you as this young couple who's come together and formed a business, etc. And you're operating in a small city like Mysore, which is not a natural choice for many, even if they graduate from this place, right? And Shrinkhala and Adarsh, both of you know that there's a very concerted effort going on in the city to make the youth of the city stay back, create more jobs, be relevant to the ecosystem, grow the ecosystem and all that. So what would be a few thoughts from your side on, one, taking up entrepreneurship immediately after college, would you want them to plunge into it straight away? Or would you rather advise that they actually work with a few startups like you to understand, how things are real and then pick up some new ventures themselves? Or would you still ask them to consider being the average employee because it's a more safer, thing to do? And honestly, sometimes we have to be real, right? Not everybody can actually be an entrepreneur.
Right.
It takes a lot. So how would you want to communicate this message to all the next founders that we are talking to? Shrinkhala, yeah.
So I think, of course, there's no one size fits all solution.
Correct.
Depends on what your situation is and how much you want to be an entrepreneur. For people like Adarsh, who that's all they've thought about their entire life, I think, of course, right after college, taking a plunge would be a good idea, depending on how much of a conviction you have in your idea and how much of the research you've done prior to ensure that you're setting yourself up for success. But for people who, one, either don't have that kind of a financial backing or don't really have conviction in ideas or their own capabilities, of course, it's a wiser idea to first work with somebody, get to know the lay of the land, get to know the market, get to know whether the product or the service that you're thinking of is something that would be able to take sale and there's enough market for that.
Okay.
So I think that's what I think, and it largely depends on the individual and the circumstances that they're coming from.
And how are you seeing Mysuru as a potential? See, because for a long time it was seen as pensioners' paradise and all that, right? I really don't like that term because I don't think Mysuru is representative of that now. It's changed a lot. But as young entrepreneurs, do you think that the turf is really ripe for youngsters to jump in and actually make this a very fertile entrepreneurship space?
Yeah, I have a critical thought on that.
Okay.
The thing is, while Mysore, on one hand, is growing with enough demand, and people are looking for things that are made in Mysore, that are available in Mysore, so to say, to connect with businesses. Because one, the earlier mindset is in Mysore, people are there who cannot get anything outside of Mysore. Like maybe he didn't get
It's a last resort.
Yeah, they couldn't get in any campus placements.
Yeah.
That's why they are in Mysore.
Yeah.
Or they tried. Why are they in Mysore? If they were good, they would have expanded to Bangalore.
Yeah.
Why are they still in Mysore? Maybe something is wrong with them.
Correct.
So that is the one lens view of what people perceive.
Correct.
For the first one, because like I told about my academic journey, my first set of customers, whoever I met, everybody knew that this was out of choice that I was doing it, not for lack of opportunity.
Right.
And whoever the initial set of customers were mainly because of why is he so passionate about it? Let me see what he can do. So that were there. And the second one about here, even our team, we also have this discussion regularly. Because every single person here is capable of being an entrepreneur or going outside and starting in Bangalore. Or
I see that totally because I work with a few of them. Correct. I know what you're talking about. Correct.
Right. But we're all here by choice in Mysore, by choice at Inside Out, and that's what we say. Every day people make a choice of being here, and once you make a choice, you get ownership of that why you're here.
Right.
And that purpose and ownership, when it comes, you do really good work.
Right.
That discipline is built because we have the fear of failing. That for me, I respond. I'm still worried. Like if I already have some 10 or 20 messages, I'm still itching to see those messages.
Right.
Because I'm worried every single day that something deserves my attention and I don't give it attention.
Correct.
Which makes my customer feel bad, which makes me lose my name and business.
Correct.
And that impacts the whole team.
Right.
Most of the news.
Does he delegate enough, Shrinkhala?
I think he has started to do that of late. The last year and a half or 2 years, I would say, he's started to delegate and believe that whatever has been delegated will be taken care of.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I think we
asking that
still have long ways to go.
It's important that at the rate at which you're growing and with all the vision you have, I'm sure in some time you will know that every message is coming in as being taken care of by somebody else.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
So what I meant was the fear is an important driving factor.
Right.
From starting till now, the fear of running out of business, the fear of having more business than the number of people you have to deliver.
Correct.
The fear of having the number of people delivering the business but not able to collect money from customers. Whatever the fear of your vendors leaving you, your employees leaving you.
True.
All those fears existed.
And Mysuru is a very small city.
Yeah.
And bad publicity can spread very fast.
Yes.
Definitely. Yes.
You just
That's
need
the
one.
only thing that spreads doesn't. Yeah.
All you need is one irate customer here,
Yeah.
and it can actually affect your future quite a bit. Yeah.
And so we take like really calculated steps. We talk a lot to the team. Every week at least we talk once a week, no matter how we are placed, where we are. Different teams are enabled to communicate and be their true selves, and that's how the culture is being built. But in many of the startups that I'm seeing now, there's too much of safety net. There's no need for a fear for them. You say, well, while you're in college, I'm going to build 10 safety nets for you until you get funding or until you become a successful entrepreneur, right? I'm saying that the necessary aspect is imbibing some failure, giving them some fear.
Yeah.
And I see many of the startups today are so arrogant when I talk to them, much younger. With conviction is different from arrogance. And I feel that they're arrogant because they know that nothing can go wrong. Because everywhere people are cheering for them. And I wish that criticality comes in somewhere. When somebody steps up on a stage, if their idea is bad, someone truly says it's bad.
Correct. No, very true, Adarsh, because I had a mentor who used to tell me, I told him, because I used to be on stage very often, even as a youngster, but I told him, sir, every time I'm on stage, my hand sweats. He said, it's a problem if it doesn't. You have to have a little bit of fear in you all the time.
Right.
Because that makes you, the adrenaline kicks in and other things happen, and that actually makes you do a little better than what you're capable of. And what you're saying is totally true, because some of the startups that we talk to, a lot of us in Thai, etc., there is a sense of complacency that's already crept in for somebody who's hardly 1 year old doing the business, right? So anyway, these are good things to talk about. One of the things, again, because I want the budding entrepreneurs in Mysuru to understand from you, are there some secret sauces to procuring clients here and retaining them in Mysore? Because it's not like Bangalore, right? If you're doing a business, many of them get to know you're doing that business, right? And typically, I don't see hundreds of them doing the same thing here. Of course, there are certain things where you have, but as an example, when it comes to digital marketing, there are probably 4 or 5 companies that are popular here, right? If you look at event management, same stuff. Right. Even this local software houses are only few, right? So, any secret sauces to customer acquisition, to retention, etc., based on your experience, Shrinkhala and Adarsh? And how many of your customers are truly local versus global?
I think we recently also got asked that question. I would say local in and around Mysore is about 70%.
Phenomenal number.
Yeah. Global would be 30% of it.
Okay.
For me, I just have one point which I think has been really helping us in retention, and that is to never get too arrogant or too complacent. We always have to know the customer, and we always have to be personally interacting with them. The minute it goes to Adarsh or I will not interact with you and it's only the team that is going to be interacting with you, that day the customer loses faith or conviction. That's because they think as owners you've become too arrogant, right? So while the team is there, while they are reliable, they are very trustworthy, the execution, operation, everything gets done. Just meeting somebody once a month to check in and to ask how everything is going, that's been really helpful in terms of retention.
And that ties, I believe, with the aspect of Mysore. And it's the other way around as well. Only if I meet or if we meet the clients and if the team doesn't meet and they don't know who is doing the work, only we are meeting every month, somehow something is getting done, but then they also won't believe that it's at its absolute best. Mysore as a place is going back to the Desiadda is a touch and feel kind of a city, or rather a see and understand kind of a city. So what has worked for us is truly being seen and being available. That's one of the main aspects.
Okay.
When we set out the rule of a digital marketing agency, how are we going to differ from others?
Right.
It's not about all the technicalities that we differ from. It's about in this address, we are there. You come, you want to meet designers, you come, you talk to them, they're here.
Nice.
Every single design, video, content, ad campaigns, photo shoot, anything at all you want, we're here. We don't do freelancers. We don't have remote working. You come, you see, you believe, you work with us. That's our only thing.
Right.
Okay.
I don't think Bangaloreans, the other place want that.
Correct.
Let's jump over a quick call.
Yes.
Here, I've never heard that. I'll be there.
Concept
in 10
doesn't
minutes.
exist.
And I have changed too. Anybody who tells me they want to talk to me, I say, you tell me where to come, or I tell you where to come.
Correct.
I don't want to do the Zoom thing knowing you're only 10 minutes away.
Exactly.
Right.
We
And
initially, we had Zoom here and here at the end of the
And selfishly, I also want to promote the local vendors. So I choose some local coffee shops, right? Because that's a way for them to get the business, right?
Right.
So anyway, interesting.
And just want to add one other point to that is we've heavily relied on and also are grateful for all the references that people have given us.
Correct.
Our first, one of our first lines was Excel soft, if you know about it.
Yeah. I know you mentioned to me once.
Yeah, there was Queen School of Design and then Excel Public School, Excel Soft, and Mr. Sudanwa, who came in as a mentor, who's also invested in the brand. I believed in the brand ideals. So from there, whenever any project happened, when somebody asked him, he would recommend us. And then coming from his recommendation, their trust would already be built. Similarly, there are various others who've followed suit in that. And we're grateful to all of our mentors and these people who believe and recommend us.
And honestly, based on my understanding of the leaders in the ecosystem, nobody would recommend somebody unless they know that they'll deliver.
Right.
So you should take equal credit for why you're getting recommended. Of course,
Thank you.
Knowing somebody like Sudanva, who's constantly vested in the ecosystem, it's admirable that he continues to do it, right? Now, would you advocate that young couples like you actually mix business and pleasure like how you're doing? Or is that a very individual thing and may work for some, may not? Or are there some secret sauces to why it works for you?
So I personally feel the secret sauce there is setting boundaries. And that doesn't have to do as much with gender roles as much it has to do with the strengths that people have.
Okay.
So I think at the office, I consider Adarsh as the boss man.
Okay.
Because I know the rationality with which he thinks.
Sorry.
And
I need to make it. Implicitly, it means we know who the boss is at home.
yes. So yeah, I know that any decision that he takes is going to be very rational and that he has the ability to back that decision up.
Nice.
So in business, I don't really question if he has put his foot down for anything.
Nice.
And it's vice versa at home, of course.
Super.
So I think that's the thing that we have.
The thought that she said.
Right.
She thinks a lot about things that are required in certain aspects, like for example, travel or holiday, or it might be about planning, even like when the house construction also was happening.
Okay.
And everything in general, she thinks a lot about it. And one other thing, she thinks at her pace. For me, like my original statement has been, I'm restless.
Right.
So at work, given the time to think and process, she might come with much better decisions than I do.
Okay.
In retrospect, it always ends up that when I screw up something, she would have thought against it, but maybe not said it at that point of time.
Right.
Because I was restless to get it going.
Right. But I understand the value of what she said, right? Because sometimes not every decision we make is right. But as long as we have clear understanding on who makes the decision during those situations.
Right.
And if you're going wrong 10 out of 10 times, maybe it's
Yes,
worth
time to
relooking,
reevaluate.
right? But I'm sure she understands that it's not that bad.
And I think maybe we are not qualified to give that answer because in terms of marriage also it's very young.
Yes.
Give us another 30 years, maybe I'll advise you against it.
No, 30 years, you're still married and you're doing this together. There's no reason why people would not want to do it. But how do you, like, would ego come in some of the conversations?
It does.
It does, right? It's not easy, right? Sometimes. Because both of you in many ways are equals, right? You've done MBA from the same school.
Right.
So no one can feel a little more superior than the other.
We both are very much, how to say...
Alpha.
Yeah,
Both are
we
alpha.
don't give up on
Okay.
things easily. We don't just let anyone...
But you fight fairly? Like you have the means and ways to fight fairly, even if you want to be aggressive, you're not nasty. You have those
I don't
abilities?
think it gets to the point of
Nastiness.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to draw the line before that is when I feel it's getting to that stage, I will shut off and we'll say, let's take this up some other
Nice.
time.
Okay.
No, that's a problem.
For him.
For her, when it goes to a stage in an argument where it's too much,
So decibel levels are higher, or your pitch gets right.
and she walks
Shrill.
away.
Okay.
And locks.
Okay.
Goes
No,
away
because
somewhere.
I know at that point, rationality is out of the window.
And you have to diffuse the situation,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
But I want answers. So I'm like, I keep pestering for answer, which escalates it even more.
No, actually, just going back to my home, it's the other way around for us, right? Like my wife hates it if I become quiet.
Oh, you become quiet.
If I want to stop a I'll just go off to some place or whatever. I want to leave this place types, right? Because and she's like, you can't be quiet, kind of thing. But it's good. At least if one of them is able to diffuse.
It's a gift.
Yeah. Start.
There's something inside screaming for me not to be quiet.
Interesting.
But
Does work occupy even your personal time sometimes? Is that a boon or a bane?
Yes, right now, I think all of the times.
Okay.
We are at a stage in the, inside out Desiadda with experience, Mysuru, everything.
Okay.
That it does take up a lot of time. He's more than mine.
And do you
like I
ever
said.
think sometimes that you should be doing different things?
I wouldn't lie. I've had that thought earlier.
Okay.
There was a time in Inside Out's journey itself where I felt the work pressure was a lot, and I felt I would fare well in a corporate environment where I could go do my hours and then get back home and be free.
Correct.
So I have had that thought, but it's rewarding. Entrepreneurship is rewarding in its own ways.
Right.
So somehow we just keep
And
moving on.
what some of the nice things about actually doing work together? What makes you feel, hey, I'm happy that I'm getting this opportunity and not many couples are.
understanding is one thing
Yeah.
where there is no need to see in an argument, like it's having established that there is going to be disagreements and argument.
Right.
When every time you are trying to justify why you are in a certain situation, I feel that argument is pointless.
Right.
What I mean by that is, for example, if we were not married, right? If I were married to someone else, then I know that every day I go home very late, but every day I'm occupied with work, and every day I needed to explain at home, this is why I happened, and then the other person has no care about why it's late. Like at least like if I had a comment, I say, hey, I'm talking to Ram, and then she knows who Ram is, and then we both understand why it's important and how we are good together, and she took the entire 9 yards of the business.
And she can never complain you're not spending enough time with me.
That's equally right on the other side.
Yeah.
She, whenever I'm at home, say if I go home a little early and if she's on some calls and she's continuously talking, and me expecting that, go soon after I go home, she should come and, greet and talk and
Right.
whatever the things are, that's also unfair.
Correct.
At that point, because I know how important that is.
Correct.
So our arguments are not going to be justified by saying this happened, that happened. And most of our friend circle also are same, right?
Yeah.
Because we were classmates as well.
Right.
So when there is that activity also, when I'm say hanging out with friends, she knows who those friends are.
Right.
And I also know who that is. So we have a certain comfort in knowing what we both are doing all the time.
Right. So very interesting you say this, and I remember listening to Savita Kunnikannan, Ramesh's wife, right, Keynes. And then when somebody asked her a question on, does it not come in the way of your personal life and all that, She had a great answer. She said, both of us have we are in it for the same purpose.
Right.
The purpose is so strong that I don't find conversations about work with my husband on dinner table distracting. Because she feels that, we have that united view of the purpose that we are trying to work towards.
But interestingly, there one thing that we've done is tried to make those little places where we 100%
Your strict
otherwise
taboos.
work. Like
Yeah.
we definitely will watch TV and have food. Like
Yeah.
it becomes like we don't eat until we are able to watch TV. Like you finish all your calls, same both sides. You finish everything else.
Okay.
And then finally,
Nice.
Similarly, our physical exercises or whatever that we plan.
So you have some strict taboo times. At that time you don't want to get distracted.
Yes.
Little but impactful.
Okay, super.
It's not really clock hours, but it's like a ritual of what we do together. We if we can't have dinner together at 9, we'll have it at 10.
That's okay.
It's not rigid in that
But still
way,
have it together.
but have it together.
Makes sense. Totally. Now, finally, in terms of your journey itself, I know you've moved into showcasing Mysuru to the audience here. Experience Mysuru is something that I have myself experienced many times, and I kind of love what you bring to the table. Can you just double click a little bit on why you decided to do that, and how do you see that evolving over the next few years?
Experience Mysore also has not always been what it is now. It was, in fact, that was there before Inside Out was there.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that was the first thing.
So just a sub brand under Desiadda. It's a program.
Parent company.
Yeah.
We have these 3 trademark brands.
Okay.
So in college, before even we had that project, I think in internship, that was when Shrinkhala was there in student exchange program. Another classmate and I were thinking about starting a Mysore related page.
Okay.
Why, if you ask, I don't know. Why?
Something that showcases all the events happening here and stuff like that.
Not really events so much as heritage.
Heritage and all that. Oh,
Yes.
just a Mysuru page.
Yeah,
Right.
with all pictures and
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
He was interested in wildlife and stuff like that, and I'm always a
And there's a lot to offer even in that space, right?
I like history,
Yeah.
world history.
Yeah,
whatever.
super.
And in my free time, I only read
Okay.
or listen to podcasts of history.
Okay.
So thought that page might be interesting,
Okay.
and we started it, and that bug of getting more followers.
Yes.
Like
Likes, following.
yeah, so then we discovered the shortcut is always easy. You pay someone, you get followers. So we did that. We bought followers at that point of time. So we saw in one night we sleep at 200 followers. Morning we have 8,000 followers.
Okay.
But there's nothing organic about it. You paid money to someone. They activated some bots which gave you traffic.
Correct.
And the page we kept posting, and then it didn't get likes. For a page with 20,000 followers, getting 3 likes on a post
Correct.
is nothing. So we thought that was a bad thing to do.
Okay.
And so we winded up that. But to manage that page, I had some designers and content writers and all that who later became part of Inside Out because we did 2 months.
Correct. Totally. Yeah.
So that was there. And then it again came back during COVID because we thought now we are all at home, we have time. So let's do some stories of Mysore.
Okay.
And again, it went to a good stage during COVID. Then again, after COVID, we got busy with other things. The Experience Mysore dropped. Again, somehow I think it picked up once in the middle when I thought of doing
Walking
walking
tours.
tours. And
Oh, did you do something like that?
we did try it out.
2 tours.
Right.
That was the life cycle of it.
Yeah, and at that early stage when we had to dedicate way too much of our time into operationalizing Inside Out.
Yes.
Me, I'm a hands-on person because when it starts, I want to be there. And later, delegation will happen once I know the in and out of that business. That's how I
Makes sense.
like to operate.
Right.
So I could not do the walking tours properly to my heart's content.
You become the key man risk for some of these things, right?
Because I could not read up new things. I didn't have any more info. I was repeating whatever I already knew. Yeah.
No, but my question to you, Adarsh, is, see, for example, Experience Mysuru, you think is important because you feel the city has a lot to offer. I want to bring it. How does it feel when something like this is not commercializable, right? And how do you overcome that, right? Now, Experience Mysuru has mushroomed many times in your life now.
Yeah.
It's taken the 3rd or the 4th version, right? So what makes you bring it back to life again and again?
Well, yeah, it has gone through various iterations, and it might also go through more number of iterations.
Okay.
Because one is it's not really ventured much by people because, like you made a point a while back, making it profitable, doing proper ticketing of that is not very commonly heard. People do it as a mass show, open for all.
Very interesting you say that, because Mysore is one of the few cities where most music is free.
Yeah.
Right? Because people from Chennai, when they come here, one of them said, I'd rather take a train and be here during the season and do everything free.
Yeah.
Because Chennai pays about 2,000 rupees for every good show.
Right. Well, it is good that Mysore has always been accessible and open for all to experience different aspects. It's not always predictable. For anything to be predictable, it has to have a commercial value associated. Meaning, if I can assure you that this show will happen every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or every day of the week in the near future, probably, then there has to be some financial implications.
Correct.
That we as a company take, and then we also pass it on to the artists who work with us.
So there's a whole ecosystem that's supporting you on this.
That's
right.
So these other places that you mentioned where certain free shows happen, one, of course, it's great. Many people get a platform, get a stage. But that is, I believe, I might be wrong about this, more for people of Mysore than people who are visiting Mysore.
Very true.
So they are...
Because they bring artists from outside,
Yeah.
largely, and show and have them perform in front of the Mysore
Correct.
crowd.
And the same crowd knows that every week at this place there is free show. Let's go have a good evening and come.
Correct.
There are many benevolent donors who
Very
donate,
true.
and it goes on.
Yeah. But Experience Mysuru is meant for who then?
It's for both local audiences also and tourists as well.
Okay.
But for local audience, there is so many things that they've not witnessed yet.
Okay.
And that is done by various people
Okay.
who would rather do it outside of Mysore, such shows, because they get better remuneration and stuff outside.
Okay.
In Mysore also, if we can properly compensate for these artists and offer something new for both the people of Mysore and the tourists who are here,
Interesting.
then it might be an interesting combination is what.
But it goes back to, if the customer is used to getting a lot of things freely, are they a little more discerning when they have to pay?
It's hard to
Please,
exactly understand whether or not it works. In the near term, though, from what we've seen,
Yeah.
we have two strategic advantages. One, that the campaign team Inside Out, and what campaigns is mainly managed by Shrinkhala, and what that team exactly does is it gives us, as they say, the unfair advantage of really running good ad campaigns, of really having good tech to enable our ticketing platforms, to have good social media presence, because we have our own team,
That's correct. Right.
doing it, so we can promote it well.
Okay.
And the other side is there are enough good places that have come in Mysore, like one you mentioned, like JCAC.
Right.
And there are numerous people who are in the arts community who also have a corporate job or are entrepreneurial, but they're still passionate about doing this. And so let me give it a try. So it's that little effort that many people put in. My effort is to plan these shows and give them the safety that, hey, I'll take care of sales. Or budget, hey, I'll take care of running ads. The people in the team is saying, hey, I will go execute it. And
Nice.
there's an event company who say, I will put up the stage and sound. Someone
Right.
says, I'll only do one performance properly.
Right.
Little many people doing is the secret, I feel.
So how are you attacking the second segment, Shrinkhala and Adarsh, right? There are innumerable people who are coming to Mysuru as tourists. And typically the mindset of the average tourist person, and even the average, I would say, advocate of Mysore here is, sir, you just see palace, you go and see Chamundi, you eat in Mailari. There are some 4 or 5 things that's kind of embedded in their mind.
Right.
So how do you break that shackle and have them experience Mysuru much more holistically?
Yeah, I think my take on that is, the first thing is, you'll see that Experience Mysuru events mostly happen when all of your Mysore Palace and the temples and everything's shut down. So the event usually starts from 5 p.m. onwards.
Right.
That was one of the points that we consciously had while
Makes sense.
preparing this event.
Yeah.
Because when we go to other places, again drawing from our travel experiences, there is a set of activities to do during the day, but they also have night experiences and shows and things that you can go and do as a tourist or a traveler. So even for us with Experience Mysuru, one of the points was that we will do these shows after 5 p.m. when they don't really have nothing planned during their day. That's one. And of course, the second thing is how we get those eyeballs to the tourist is by running these campaigns that Adarsh was mentioning, and by making ourselves more known and more visible on platforms like Book My Show, on District, which is Zomato's platform. So that's how we get more eyeballs for these tourists who are from out of the city, because when they are planning their trip to Mysore, they can preemptively see what is the show that's going on in that area
Right.
at a given day and during the evening where most of their calendars are free.
So are you getting good footfall from non-Mysoreans for some of your events? Shrinkhala?
We are.
Yeah, you are. Interesting. No, what you say is totally right, because post 5 in most other global cities
Right.
is meant for people to see cultural shows.
Correct.
And of course, there's a nightlife aspect which kicks in after 9 p.m. or something.
Right.
And I don't know how receptive our administrators will be for that. But hey, we could have a nice safari here, right? We have so much of wildlife,
Right.
and food can be a great attraction point beyond 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Right?
Even we have this food and show that has never happened in Mysore.
Okay.
There's different places where
Food experience.
happen and
Yeah.
you have food, you enjoy the meal while you watch a good show.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
kind of a stage itself is not available. The venue is not available.
But I'm sure you'll cook something up in due course and make the experience much more comprehensive and holistic. So as a last segment, Shrinkhala and Adarsh, I'm just going to ask you a quick bunch of rapid fire. As I keep saying in every show, try and say that, make the response from the heart than from the head.
Yeah.
So don't think too much, and also don't say too much. Yeah, my request. First, to Shrinkhala, who is more Desi at heart?
Adarsh.
Adarsh, okay. Whose marketing ideas go more viral?
Again, like we said, creative, so it's Adarsh again.
Okay. You're giving too much credit to Adarsh Shrinkhala. It's good anyway. Who handles client panic calls better?
That's Shrinkhala. I'm impulsive.
Okay. Have you fought with a customer?
Have I?
I think he does. When it's in the spur of the moment, he will fight, but by the end of the call, he would have made up. That's one good thing.
Good to know. Okay. If you had to give, and this is to each other, how would you, if he had a hashtag, what would it be?
That's an interesting thing. I would say hashtag bossman.
Okay. For Shrinkhala?
Hashtag travel.
Okay. Right. That's like
Maybe. Yeah.
I think.
traveling soul or something like that.
Yeah. Hashtag.
So you're a person who likes
Yes,
to travel
yes,
a lot.
a lot.
And what excites you about travel, Shrinkhala? Is it
Just the newness of things.
okay?
Like I said, sometimes this gets, even though every day brings with it new challenges, it does get a little monotonous.
Okay.
So I think travel gives me that newness that I'm looking for.
And sorry, yeah.
Sorry, I like to plan a lot of things. So
In your
now,
travel.
given that we now have access to technology, the reviews and where to go and what to do, I love that travel planning aspect.
So
of
you
things.
travel to actually explore and not to just sit in a place and just
Right.
rest. Which heritage icon would you identify with?
Palace.
Yeah.
Mysore Palace. Yeah.
Yeah, something that really is close to your heart. You, Shrinkhala? Do you have a secret Mysuru comfort food?
Yes, curd rice.
Yeah.
If it's Mysore, of course, Mysore masala dosa.
Yeah. For me, it's a masala dosa.
Okay.
That's my go-to, and it frustrates me that sometimes it's not available during lunch at many
Exactly.
places.
Yeah.
But for me, dosa is all times of the day kind of a food.
The one thing that you really love about Mysore. I'm asking you because you moved here
Yeah.
from outside.
I think you called it pensioner's paradise, but that for you has a negative connotation. For me, selfishly, I like that Mysore is the way it is.
Oh, the calmness of
I love the calmness, the still of it. I like that nights are peaceful.
One thing I would like to add there, I know it's rapid fire, but in college and even now, she looks at clouds and I admire her. She just look at the clouds.
Clouds and
She's seen it
stars.
forever.
You guys should definitely come home one day because we are in a high rise.
Oh, okay.
So when you go to the 11th floor, 10th floor,
Right.
obviously there's a lot of clouds that you'll admire. Last two questions. The biggest argument that you've had that you probably laugh about retrospectively, and you should never have fought about that or something.
I
Nothing.
have one thing that comes to mind. It was when we went to Europe, and that was soon after our marriage. And I took a back-to-back client call.
Oh, okay.
A couple of them, and then we had an argument.
I remember that now. My whole thing was I planned the entire thing, and at that point, all I expect of you is to navigate.
Right.
And I think we had taken a couple of bad turns back to back, and then that's when I lost it. And I said, "Please, that's your one job for this
I
trip.
think,
Do it."
I don't know if you know this, in US they always say the test of a good marriage is how much time you spend in the car together. Because there's constant navigation, because especially in the 2000s, early 2000s, we didn't have a lot of navigational tools.
Right.
And it was very important for one spouse to tell the other spouse what right or left to take, because they'll be working off paper.
Yeah.
And you can actually have nasty fights because you always say, you said left, but I heard it as right or whatever.
Right.
I didn't say anything. I still remember that whenever anybody asks, I also keep bringing it up in conversations. Sometimes.
And finally, you had to describe yourself together. You know, how would that be? Like fire and ice, idli and sambar, something that comes to your mind? You know, contrasts or complementary?
It's interesting. I don't know.
Something you can make up?
I don't think that's a rapid fire question. That's you forced us to introspect now. Day and night. Yeah, maybe that's good.
That works on many levels.
Yeah.
I rise very early. She sleeps. We can handshake with our bedtime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Super. Thank you so much for your wonderful time, Adarsh and Shrinkhala. We may not have covered everything we want to cover. It was a very long conversation.
Yeah.
I appreciate the time you spent.
Likewise, Ram, I really appreciate the question.
Thank you, Adarsh and Shrinkhala, for this wonderful conversation. I know we covered many things. Possibly not everything we wanted to cover, but still, we have to honor everybody's time constraints. And I really appreciate, as somebody who's got an active business, you decided to spend about 90 minutes, talking about so many different things. The most important thing for me is the amount of inspiration that you would create for the youngsters, because we are very committed on getting youngsters in Mysore to become entrepreneurs. And hearing your story and your conviction on certain things, and how others, you having started as an engineer, you ventured into Desiadda straight away, and then you've been constantly pivoting and churning out newer ideas. In Shrinkhala, not born here, but you've adopted Mysuru as your city, and then being a poster child here for how a couple can come together and do great things. Thank you so much for everything you do for us, and really looking forward to the two of you shaping the future of Mysuru through all your efforts. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to host you and making this a memorable evening for us.
Thank you.